Hey, it's Mike Draper with AWC TV, and today we're excited. From San Diego, California, we have Richie Blue on with us, the inventor of the Gunslinger. Richie, thanks for being on today. We appreciate you.
Right on. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. You're a window cleaner. You're out there cleaning windows every day, right?
You bet your biscuits. I just got home.
Yeah.
I got my uniform on.
Very nice. I like that uniform and name of your company, too. That's really cool.
I'm taking Warner Brothers to court here pretty soon for biting my stuff here.
Yeah. Let me know how that works for you.
Right.
So, Richie, a lot of times some of the best inventions come from a guy out there in the field, and I don't think this your product now, the Gunslinger, is any different. It's that you recognized a problem and sought out to solve it. And many of the great inventors, I mean, Ettore, Unger, Sorbo, all of them were in the similar thing. They were like, I'm out here doing this, and I guess I've got a better way. I want to tell everybody else about it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, initially, I don't think that's what my plan was. You know, my plan was I was just kind of making these things myself in my garage. And, you know, because the main thing that was bothering me was the noise with the plastic buckets. And I just didn't like it. I felt like I was in one of those circus bands, those guy that walks around with the cymbals and the drums, you know, like, and you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
And they were just kind of that's the thing that drove me the craziest about the plastic bobs. And so I started making things out of fabric and, you know, experimenting around. And then after a while, I had been using them, and I thought to myself, I go, you know what, maybe because there was another window cleaner, local guy I ran into, and he goes, where'd you get that? And I go, I just made it. He goes, make me one. And I go, nah, I don't make them for people. You know, I just kind of do it for my. But then, you know, after I had that conversation with them, I started thinking about, well, maybe I can make these for people. And so I started going after that. And then before you know it, there was like a demand for them.
Yeah. And, you know, that process is so interesting to go through because, you know, you've got something that's working for you. Now you've got to kind of prototype it. You've got to get it into a production. You've got to cut costs on the thing because the first one you probably built cost $200 or something like that.
Yeah, they're arduous. They're arduous to construct, just the construction alone. And yeah, there was a process I went through. And then the other thing I had to think about too, Mike, is like I realized that every window cleaner cleans windows like me. And, you know, I started thinking about, you know, when I first started cleaning windows, we were just talking earlier about, you know, I started in the mid 80s cleaning windows, and I mostly did residential. And then after a while, I got into commercial. I kind of did the reverse. Most guys, you know, will start in commercial and they switch over to residential. But anyway, I started thinking about my residential days, and I go, you know, this is the way what I had. The first prototype I had is I said this isn't going to work for. It's not going to be as accommodating for those guys. So then I started getting back into it and trying to make it like a, you know, one size fits all kind of tool caddy. But would accommodate, you know, not only the residential guys or in the storefront guys, but the mid-rise guys and the guys on the swing stages and all the rest of that. So I you know, was how it came about.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting because our industry, I was in the supplier side of things for a while, and it's never ceased to amaze me. You know, you'll get in all these, and you know, the Gunslinger versus the plastic bob and all this, or this versus this and all. You know what? Our industry is so finicky that there will probably never be a product where everybody in the industry just says, yep, that's what we're going to use. I mean, it is so finicky, man.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think it's just the way it is. It's the nature of the industry. I mean, window cleaners are kind of a breed all to themselves, I've noticed over the years. And it's really kind of colorful. I mean, I enjoy the people in the industry because of the personalities. You know, there's just it's pretty enlightening to me. And you're right. I mean, you know, you make the perfect squeegee, or you make the perfect you know, tool caddy or Boab or whatever it is, and there'll be some guy complaining because it doesn't have an alarm clock on it, or whatever,
Yeah.
It really comes down to preference, there's some guys. I was talking to Jared Martinez not too long ago. We had the similar conversation, and I go, you know what, Jared? I go, he started laughing too, and I was like, there's going to be guys that are going to hate the Samurai, and there's going to be guys that are going to hate the Gunslinger, and they're going to be happy with their Unger bucket, and that's the end of that story. You know what I mean? And he's like laughing. He goes, "Yeah, you're right, man," because he's racking his brains too, because he's like back to the drawing board trying to accommodate people. He wants to make some mods on his unit, sometime coming up, and I was having a similar conversation with Perry the other day. One of the cool things about Gunslinger, I think, and the other products, he's got his grand opening in the Kansas City coming up, and I'm going to be bringing down some new Gunslinger prototypes to that. That's at the end of the month, and the Gunslinger is it's not a static product, in other words, we collect the information, we got a whole bunch of feedback from people on Gunslinger. And, there was a lot of guys asking for something a little bit more streamlined that they could do, especially the European guys, there's well, the biggest squeegee I use is a 14-inch. So can you please make me something that holds my 14-inch mop and my 14-inch squeegee? And I know the Gunslinger will hold it, but I just want something smaller, and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Those kind of. So I have about 3 other Gunslingers that I'm coming out with. The first one I'll be showing down at the Kansas City store, and that'll be a nice residential. I believe it'll attract a lot of the residential guys, even though the Gunslinger itself, a lot of guys that do residential use the Gunslinger now as it is. But that, like I said, it was designed more around a one-size-fits-all kind of. It's just more of a, it accommodates everything. Whereas some of these other Gunslingers I'll be putting out here in the next couple of months, they're more specialized, and you'll see when they come out. And the same thing with bag systems. I have a whole a belt system for bags and water bottle holders and mini waist little mini poles that you could hold on your waist and different things like that.
Yeah, very neat. So, talk to me just a minute about it from an inventor's standpoint. We were talking about this earlier on another interview, but how frustrating is it sometimes to invent something and you in your mind think that it's the most wonderful thing that ever graced the planet, and then you put it out there and they're like, oh, it'd be cool if it had this, or if it had an alarm clock like you mentioned, or it had and so your whole idea is no, I already created it perfect.
It really comes down to my own ego. I have to wrestle with that sometimes, because sometimes I we're all guilty. We're all human, and we do things that we do, and we want it to be the best, and we want everybody to love it, or us or whatever. Sometimes it's people are different, and they think different, and they want different things, and it's okay. And my job with my ego is to put it aside and not take it personal, and just say, hey, all right, and really try to listen to, well, maybe I can make something. I mean, I know, Mike, I'm not going to be able to, like I said, I'll have by the time it's all said and done, I'll have 3 different Gunslingers for them to choose from, or 4, or whatever we decide to make. And there's still going to be somebody, they're not going to they're going to look at all 4 of them and say, I don't like none of them. Okay, then what do you do? Okay, well, maybe it's time for me to maybe start making squeegees or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's a challenge. Like I say, we are a finicky bunch. It's everybody has their preferences, and it doesn't, not even with Boabs, but just soaps and squeegee blades and this. Oh my goodness, it's wild. So, Man, hey, I really appreciate you coming on with us today. It's an exciting product, that's for sure. I've seen one in a box. I unboxed one, but I don't have one yet. I need to get one ordered.
You gotta get one, Mike. Maybe I'll send you one of the newer ones.
Oh, that sounds good. I'd like to have it, and we'll feature it on the show. But stay in touch with us with all the developments. We'd like to have you back on again, but keep in touch with us, will you?
Right on. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I'm Mike with AWC TV. Check out Richie Blue's Gunslinger, and also the article in the Tools of the Trade in our next issue of American Window Cleaning magazine. Stay tuned for our next episode of AWC TV by following us on YouTube, Facebook, or our website, awcmag.com.